So you've seen the headlines, right? Layoffs are happening everywhere. And the big, scary reason everyone's talking about? AI. But is that really the whole story? Okay, let's dig in and figure out what's actually going on behind all those pink slips.
First, let's just start with a number to really get a sense of the scale here. 946,000. That's how many job cuts were announced in just the first 9 months of this year. That's the highest we've seen since 2020, and it's a staggering 55% jump from last year. So, yeah, something is definitely happening.
And you know, the official story we're getting from the top seems pretty straightforward. I mean, when the CEO of Amazon, one of the biggest employers on the planet, says this, you tend to listen. It feels like a simple formula, doesn't it? More AI comes in, more jobs go out.
But here's where it gets kind of weird. If you've actually, used any of these AI tools, you know they are not perfect, not by a long shot. They make mistakes, they hallucinate, they really struggle to handle a whole workflow from A to Z on their own. So if the tech isn't actually capable of doing all this work, why are we seeing layoffs on this massive scale?
Well, it turns out the truth is a little more complicated. What seems to be happening is less about what AI can do right now and a whole lot more about how big companies are strategizing for it tomorrow. And there are really 3 distinct theories that help explain what's going on.
All right, theory number 1 is something called anticipatory restructuring. Basically, big established companies are looking over their shoulders, and they are terrified. They saw what the internet did to giants of the past, think Blockbuster, and they are not about to let that happen to them. So they're not asking, can AI do this job today? They're trying to get lean and fast, to act like an AI-native startup before one of those startups comes along and eats their lunch.
And this quote from an Amazon SVP just nails it. This isn't about bringing in a robot next week to do someone's job. No. It's about cutting through all the red tape, all the bureaucratic layers, and getting into what they call startup mode. They want to be able to turn on a dime the very second some new AI breakthrough changes the game. Okay, on to theory number 2, AI washing. Look, let's be real for a second. Sometimes a company is just not doing great, but admitting that you overhired or that your business model is struggling, that doesn't sound good. What sounds way better is saying, we're restructuring for the AI revolution. It's a convenient, forward-looking excuse, and you know who loves it? Wall Street. Investors often give a nice little stock bump to any company that just mentions those 2 magic letters.
And that brings us to our third theory, which comes with this absolutely brilliant analogy from NYU professor Scott Galloway. He calls AI corporate Ozempic. Now think about it. For decades, the rule of business was simple. If you want to grow your revenue, you have to grow your team. Revenue and headcount were totally locked together. Well, AI is breaking that link. For the first time, companies can see a clear path to doubling their revenue without hiring a single new person. And that is a fundamental shift in how business works. So, with all these corporate games being played, the big question for all of us is, who should actually be worried? This wave is definitely not going to hit everyone the same way. Let's break down the likely winners and losers in this new landscape.
Yeah, take a look at this. There's a really clear pattern here, isn't there? Over on the left in that higher risk column, what do all those jobs have in common? Sales, customer service, PR, they're all about processing information. And that's exactly what AI is getting really, really good at. But now look over to the right. Roofers, truck operators, nursing assistants. These jobs require your hands, physical dexterity, specialized skills, or direct human care. For now, anyway, those roles are a lot more insulated.
Okay, I know this can all feel a bit daunting. I totally get it. But just knowing what's happening, that's half the battle. The other, more important half is taking action. So let's shift gears and talk about what you can actually do. Let's build a playbook for making yourself indispensable in this new era.
In the short term, you have to play offense. Hiding under your desk and hoping nobody notices you is literally the worst possible strategy. Instead, you need to become the go-to person for AI on your team. Develop a strong, informed opinion. AI is great at analysis, but it's terrible at taking a stand. And maybe most importantly, build real relationships with the people making the decisions. The invisible people are always the easiest ones to cut.
And for the long haul, it's all about doubling down on the durable human skills. Think of AI as your superpowered intern. Your real value comes from your judgment, knowing the right questions to ask it. It comes from your critical thinking, knowing when its output is just plain wrong. And maybe the most crucial skill of all in a world of constant change, it's simply your ability to adapt and to learn new things over and over again.
This all leads to a powerful and, yeah, for some, a scary idea. We have to be willing to reinvent ourselves. That old idea that you pick one career and just stick with it for 40 years, that chapter is closing fast. Reinvention is no longer a sign that you failed. It's a core strategy for success.
And if you think that kind of total reinvention sounds impossible, history is filled with icons who prove it's not. Vera Wang was a competitive figure skater long before she designed a wedding dress. Martha Stewart was a stockbroker on Wall Street before building a media empire. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, well, he went from bodybuilding champion to the world's biggest movie star to the governor of California. Their careers proved that a dramatic pivot isn't just possible. It can be the path to your greatest success.
So, the crucial point in all of this is that we need a whole new mindset. The future of work isn't about the job you have, it is all about the skills you are building.
We have to stop thinking of ourselves as our job title, as a financial analyst or a project manager, and start thinking of ourselves more like entrepreneurs, offering a bundle of valuable skills. That old career ladder is being replaced by a much more fluid, project-based world where your portfolio is what really matters.
And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. In this new era, are you building a resume based on a static job title that could disappear, or are you actively curating a dynamic portfolio of skills that will keep you valuable no matter what comes next? The choice is yours.